I'm Micaiah Stevens. This is a video response to Board to Bits games for his systems and achievements and news ticker, which are so various videos he's done. Uh, I've did a 35-minute video to this, and now I'm just trying to shorten this down as quick as I can. Um, just I really love showcasing things, but if these video responses, I should probably keep them as smooth as possible. Um, so So here's the this is the Rogue House. We've slimmed it down. Um, yeah, lighting system in Unity without anything. So it's just a character that can move around and do various actions. It's kind of meant to be a roguelike, which is not kind of what we're talking about, but it's in this sort of. I thought this system would be great to work with. We also built the Rogue House debug system, which showcases off some of the board to bit systems. So, like this is the Rogue House talking about the character stats. This is sort of my take on this and expanded. I should talk about that as well. I'm I have 20 years or 15 to 20 years of experience programming and developing games. I take these sort of smaller tutorials and expand them out with my experience in trying to build into much larger, cooler systems. Well, not cooler, but I have more time. I am persistent and have unlimited time to sort of do these sort of things. Anyways, so we have in the bottom left here, this is kind of my second or third iteration of a news ticker system. I thought this would just be fun to implement this into this debug, the information that we could sort of this ticker system doesn't really work with this type of game, but I thought it'd be great to sort of. I haven't added anything to this, but it might be cool to see, various. I'm not sure exactly what we're going to track in an RPG, but anyway, so we have added in the achievement system as well. With this is a using the player press from Board to Bits. We've done this quite a few times as well, but now we've added in the ability to see the player press data here and reset the achievements, which are just reset the player press essentially is what this button does, but it's hopefully going to reset the player press. This is Unity 5.66 because of the font sizes. So in 2019.3 they're supposed to fix it, but anyways, I don't have the reset player press up in here, so I can reset the achievements, and then when I do that, yeah. So if we let's see, hit F10, we can actually move around, and you can actually see the achievements go up, which is nice. And then when you achieve this system, it's cool, and it's sort of my take on making it nice and big, and and stuff like that. So we'll have to sort of scale that down at some point. But anyways, we can activate the forest system. Oh, I'm like, where did the forest system? I did that last time too. Anyways, the forest system is a highly expanded forest system. From his part, we have grass, rabbits, which are, I guess that looks like a rabbit, sheep, slimes, and trees are also visible, and then bats. There isn't any wolves, but they are in the system. It just wasn't quite, I guess I could have added them. Anyways, you can also do the tick system, but the grasses are actually responding and growing based on the ticks. And then if we continue to, we should see, I kind of want to add in some sort of way to, and then you can see the grass will again respond to ticks. Also, we have, because it's kind of an RPG aspect, we've added this ability to pet animals. But, slimes are not very petable, so you can attack them. They're actually mobs in our system, and we can defeat mobs. So I just want to talk about real quick, this kind of took the longest time about going through the code, but the forest system here is sort of, you can see the same sort of idea that he has. Ours is a little bit more like chunk based. I think if you look at the scene overall, you can see that there's a chunk. It actually becomes it's a radius. We're eventually going to make it a chunk, so you can add in. I just added the left. Hold down Shift and space will increment 5 ticks, or the space bar will do 1 tick. Anyways, so we have this death transform, which is a special place where we want to send. It's like a graveyard. Death seemed a shorter name. Anyways, we create that, and then we iterate through all the animal types, and that's how we've set up our system. If you look at our profiles through the data, yeah, right here through the resources data, we have only so we do have a grass profile, and it let's see, it doesn't. Have, oh no, yeah, okay. I've noticed this before. It doesn't have a starting count, but which is kind of maybe it should, but we actually do it through a different system. Anyway, so you can see rabbits are probably a great example. Um, they're a critter type of herbivore, so they eat grass, which is a vegetable, basically. So herbivores eat vegetables. Sort of similar to the we haven't talked about that yet. So and then it's a rabbit. And it has a multiplier, which is actually really cool. This is really someone was like, "Why would you want to hide data?" And this is a perfect example that a grass is not a consumer. All it is a multiplier. So if we're not a consumer, we don't care about their hunger increase or their eat threshold or any of that. But for the rabbits, we do. And it's for consumer, it will eat a vegetable and increase hunger per tick, I believe is what this is, and we have an eat threshold of 10 ticks, just exactly kind of similar to him. I should talk about this as well. When I developed um, this originally um, through this cool guy, Cool 18, what was this? Almost, yeah, 2 years ago. So this is his take on the same exact system. I hesitate to say that it's sort of like um, the board to bits learned off the Quill 18 tutorial, and that's where he actually expanded. He has a really awesome idea of the system design, and really went into that, and then his implementation of this system. And this is probably a pretty generic idea, but anyways, it's gnomes eat sprouts. I guess he calls it sprouts, but I called it Brussels. I guess for various reasons. Anyways, and badgers eat gnome, and then so he has these. It's all in 2D as well. Uh, so you can see that these are Brussels. I think if we play this a little bit, you can see that. He's about to play it in a few seconds. So here's a hedge. So the gnome is going to eat. He's eating the Brussels sprouts, runs away from the badger, and then hides in the hedge, and it's really cool. So it's sort of the same system, but is implemented to be this AI behavior that's sort of meant to be. I'm motioning my hands, but it's meant to be like where it's like you get this um, really cool, like where he's like eating the hedge, trying to decide. That's the kind of the cool, the jittery behavior is a little. We can fix it. You can probably improve that, but it's like trying to decide. Hey, I'm nervous about this thing, so now it's trying to take a bite, and now it can't. So anyway, so that's sort of where a lot of this system built. I have a lot of that in place, but I need to have them move per tile and not they sort of are wandering around. It's just how I want to do it for the roguelike. Anyway, so we have you can see farmers are a quill extension of that, where farmers actually would uh, take care of the Brussels sprouts and heal them. Um, and as a animal type, so they could actually sort of farming, as in trying to keep the Brussels sprouts alive, and the gnomes are eating them, which in this case are rabbits. So anyway, so we have these tons of animal types. This gives us um, all the abilities to have as many animal types as we want in the game, and then we just iterate through this. This is kind of how you do an enumeration, and it just chooses, including none, which are special cases we handle sometimes. It's just none is a really important thing in when you have an enum, that you're not always going to be an animal type. Um, there are some grass, trees, and hedges in here, which are not animal types, but they're sort of in this system. They all become a critterish system. And then anyway, so we create this critter system, which is a forest critter. Is just a sort of a way to handle the critter profile, which is kind of the critter that the unit, I think, is one thing he called it. But anyways, which handles its transform. Um, this is sort of a lot of this needs. I've sort of implemented this, and a lot of this needs. So here you can see their starting count, and the way we get the starting count, I thought was interesting. Let's see, can we find this without going through an insane amount of code? I believe anyway. So there's a way that it gets the through the critter. Yeah, right here. Okay, here we. we have this rogue house settings, which is kind of the it's meant to be a generic. This is when we didn't show. I think we. Anyways, when you drop down a tree, it destroys it based on this, and this is kind of where it gets the settings of the data, which I find to be a little bit more intuitive for me. Where it's like I want to be able to have a instead of changing profile data, I wanted to be able. That's one thing I farmed this out to this specific theme, but now I can't see any of that. Yeah, because this is meant to be loaded from a sort of JSON data, and you can see that we have the 10 grass, or is it 20 grass? Anyways, you can set up the same data as he did, 10 rabbits, and we don't have any walls, but we could actually just easily just go um, wolf. Yeah, easily if I can type. Come on. Sorry, I got a new keyboard and I'm not liking it at all. But then we just say return, what, 10 I think it was? Yeah. Anyway, so it's just, but if if it doesn't find the wolf type, it was returning 0, which is why we weren't seeing any really being created. But anyways, we're not really, I don't want to do that because it's sort of working with this system. Oh, and this is like meant to be 2 or something. I'm keeping the data kind of low because I have a ton more animals. So that's kind of the general idea. So you can see that it creates this forest system here. It sets up all the forest through here. So we have 3 sheep in the world, and then they actually will eventually find the grass. Like this guy, I think if I look at this guy right here, oh no, he hasn't. Let's see, why are you not finding any food? He should have actually found. Oh, he's not hungry. That's why. Hmm. Anyways, they will go out and eventually find some grass. Um, oh, maybe the rabbits will find the grass. There we go. Yeah, so now they're starting to get hungry, so they'll find the grass. So this guy, so like right here, some of these rabbits are finding, like I bet this guy right here has found the grass that's right next to, no. Okay. Anyways, that's the general idea is that they'll find the food relative close to their distance to where they are, and then eventually they'll hop along or go over there and munch on the food. I did talk about this a little bit. Maybe we'll talk about this again. There is an idea that this is not just a nutritional value of grass. This is per thing. So if like they eat a piece of grass, that certain, maybe it should be random, but certain of these things will start disappearing, and then they will grow back slowly over time. So these will be per nutritional value per cube. Um, and then you can, and it's really, it's really nice. You can see like the grass grows up and stuff like that. So we have a lot of cool ideas to implement some of that into a larger system, but we haven't. There's a lot of work to do. But anyways, so it's just kind of really cool. You can go around. Yeah. So you can see that the trees, which are just critters, actually chop down the trees. Oh, and it shouldn't have destroyed the stump. Or maybe it does. Anyways, yeah, so then you can attack various based on their type they are. Bats, for instance, are a mob as well. And then eventually you'll be able to interact with the grass and do lots of cool things. Um, and then sheep and stuff, and you'll be able to harvest the wool. And there's just a whole ton of cool things that are coming. But I just thought it just would be a nice showcase to show off. I should mention that as well. Someone was talking about, hey, why are you doing these response videos? And the point is to showcase like the cool systems that Board to Bits and Codehouse and all these other people are building, and what I'm doing with them and expanding upon them, and hopefully, taking their original their ideas and expanding into much larger. Running. That's sort of the idea of a tutorial, and to show the reach of that tutorial and where it's going. And how cool, and see it in, and this is actually part of This is part of the I did some of the behind the scenes of a Hamlet and what I'm sort of thinking about the future of Hamlet and what you can do to expand the original idea to have mobs and interactable. This is sort of the same sort of tree objects that you can now interact with on. This is kind of the RPG aspect, and then soon you'll go into the character management sort of control aspect. But that's for future videos. So thanks very much, Board to Bits, for all the hard work you're doing. This is kind of I talked a little bit about this in the Code Host videos about the showcase of some of this. You can really see some of the news ticker, the achievements. I really have needed a way to track achievements visually, and to be able to do. It would be not. I could actually do make these buttons interactable, so I could reset specific achievements. But for right now, you can just reset the entire achievement. And oh, I guess this guy's already. That actually should be a bug. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, when you reset the achievements, you actually need to reset the triggers on the achievements as well. Oh, now it doesn't want to pet animals. Oh, there we go. I'll pet two animals. For some reason it's not wanting to pet. Oh, now it's going off. But yeah, so a lot of these, if you petted them before, it should reset them. Oh no, I'm hitting the button as if it's going to reset. Yeah, it's not. Seems like it's not. Yeah, mom's defeated is a separate thing, but there's a tag on these that say, "Hey, I've been already been petted." Anyway, so that's hopefully a really awesome showcase of a lot of the cool systems. That's the other thing too, is taking people's various news ticker forest systems and achievements and putting them all together in one cohesive project. I think is really cool as well. Having it all work together and be expanded upon. And here again, it's like with 6 profiles and not having to rely on profile data, but generate the profile data and pull out settings data through here to put this all together to create this sort of. I really wanted to get this settings data out, and then eventually I'm going to pull into JSON and pull these in so you can actually be able to create I can create I don't know. I don't think we have a badger in our system, so we can create a badger and give it a NASA name of badger and give it a starting count of 4 or something. And and so that's the JSON data that we'd pull and read into this entire system. So that's kind of what the other expanded. Anyways, Board to Bits, really appreciate it. I know this has gone probably long enough, but he's talking about a new system. Can't wait for what he's going to do. Sort of a new system design that's different, but hopefully we'll see how it goes. Anyways, I've been Micaiah Stevens. Check out my channel with my amazing 5 subscribers and some of the other response videos, including the Quill 18, Code House, Code Monkey, Athos, I think is in here somewhere. Anyways, yeah, so a lot of cool stuff so I appreciate everybody, and thanks very much, Board to Bits, for your amazing videos and the content, and keep up the great work. You take care.